Hey guys, and welcome to the latest Kronos IV Review Diaries. Today we want to talk about a speaker that is probably the most underestimated product in the hi-fi industry, and that is the Diapason Aries loudspeaker. Now, why do we say these are so underestimated? Quite simply, when people see these, they often think, no, they're too small for what I want. No, they're not big enough to give me the sound I want. And you honestly couldn't be farther from the truth if you tried. These are possibly essentially the TARDIS of the hi-fi industry. On their outset, they look small, but the sound is amazingly big. But the fact they're small gives you a huge number of advantages on top of that, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. So to start with, what is the price point? The price point is £2,425. So bearing in mind these are made from aged Cataletto walnut, and that is solid walnut. The entire cabinet is made of real hardwood walnut. That is an exceptionally good price. And part of the reason they're able to make it at this price is through the clever design from Alessandro Schiavi, who is the Diapason designer. Because when we spoke to Alex, we asked him about the size of these speakers, and he said basically he is known for making an incredibly big sound out of smaller enclosures. That is because he comes from a background of designing musical instruments, in particular violins. And just like a violin, it's not a particularly large enclosure, but it makes a big sound. And he takes that same expertise and puts it into his speaker designs. Now, the advantage here is, as Alex explained, he can take a small enclosure like this and make an incredibly big sound. And the advantage then you have is you're not paying as much for them. As we asked Alex, we said, even if you can get a big sound, why not make it bigger and more impressive looking? And number one, he said there's a lot of advantages to it being this size, which I'll talk about very shortly. But also he says, if I was to make this twice the size or twice the width, it would cost nearly twice as much because we're using more wood, we have to brace it, there's a lot more expense in doing that. And he said ultimately the sound won't really change that much. So he said if I can keep it small and compact, I can keep the price down, which makes it much better for the customer. So it's incredibly clever thinking. But why is this smaller design so useful? And this is part of Alex's theology, I suppose you could say. Because obviously most of the Diapason speakers are stand mounts except for the small Aries here and the reference Dynamis, which are large floor standers. But he always said to keep the speaker small is smart because he can create as big a sound as any other speaker manufacturer, and he's very, very proud of that fact. But he said their size means that you can set them up correctly, which is a huge part of speakers that I guess some people maybe don't spend enough attention to. The way you can set these up in your room is much, much easier than most speakers on the market. And what we mean by that is, as you can see here, we obviously have a dedicated den room. We have plenty of space to set speakers up, but that's not always realistic in all of our homes. But as you can see here, I can take the Aries speaker and I can literally turn it 90 degrees, 180 degrees. I can turn it whatever way I need to get it set up so that the sound is in the middle, that the dynamics are doing what they should, that the bass is doing what it should. And again, I can move it forward or back from the back wall. So the ability to set this up to literally minute points is incredible. And if I was here with a larger floor stander, I would be limited to how much I could turn this because I would have issues with how far it is away from the middle. I would have issues how far it is from my rack, whether it's hitting the side walls, whether it's hitting the back wall, because obviously I'm limited with how much of an angle I can use. With these, essentially, I have an infinite amount of chances to turn it where I need it to be. And then when you couple that with the fact that the sound is so big, and you don't lose any of that sound stage with these, and you're saving a fortune, these are the most incredible bargain in the industry for us. And this is not just something we're saying, this is something we're more than happy to demonstrate to people. We are more than happy for you to come in to have a listen, And basically what we do is we put a set of larger, more conventional floor standers in the system, and we put in the Aries. Essentially close your eyes and we'll play both speakers. And honestly, because to date, we have yet to find a customer that could definitively say that they knew which one was a Diapason and which one was a larger floor stander. That's how big a sound these speakers make. But that is what Alex's philosophy of Diapason is: a huge sound out of a very small enclosure. Because as he says, you're paying less, you're maintaining that massive soundstage, and you have the ability to set them up so much more precisely than most other speakers because they're small. So really, these are just one of the most underrated speakers in the industry. And as soon as people hear these, they sell like wildfire. Demonstration wise, every time we demo these, the customer goes home with them. I think there is something like a crazy 98% sale rate when someone demonstrates these here at Kronos, because they are just that good. And it is strange because your ears and your eyes almost are fighting against each other, because you're looking at this and going, that sound cannot be coming from that speaker, but it is. And I'm not going to try and say it, because I suspect Alex is a much more clever person than I am, but the way these are designed and the knowledge he has in that musical instrument background and the creation of musical instruments, he knows how to create a bigger sound, and he knows exactly how it should sound. And that combined is why the Diapason are so highly regarded. The fact then that these are completely hand-built in Italy, there's a husband and wife team that create every single cabinet for the Diapason, and these are solid Catalona walnut, so the finish is just extraordinary. It is a hardwood cabinet and enclosure, which Alex actually said is not just for a quality point of view, it is essential in order to make that sound. And that's why I think a lot of other manufacturers at the moment aren't able to replicate this, because you can't do this using, say, an MDF or other woods with a veneer on top. It has to be solid walnut. Now obviously Alex isn't going to give away his secrets, but he said the fact that this is solid walnut is key. But obviously they're a stunning looking speaker. They're compact, they're tidy, but honestly the sound is like unlike anything you'll have heard before. These have bass. They are rear ported, but obviously with their size, that means you can work with them against back walls to get the bass exactly where you want it. They have big mid-range, which is incredible. I mean, you won't honestly believe your ears. And they have that exceptional, neutral, natural, sweet musical sound that you get from the Diapason that is just so well tuned that it does sound like a live performance. That's why we're such big fans of the Diapason here, is because they give you that real sound. It's not manipulated, it's not manufactured, it is exactly like the artist should sound. And all the details there, all the mids there, the three-dimensionality of these is actually unbelievable for their price. I mean, even at taking away all the other aspects, at $2,500 approximately, the three-dimensionality of these at that price point is unbelievable. Never mind the fact that you get all these other advantages. But honestly, for us, if you were to try and replicate the sound of these speakers, I would say you would be looking at least £5,000 to £6,000. But as Alex said, that is because you're paying for a much larger cabinet. There's more manufacturing costs, there's more transit costs, etc, etc, etc. These are easier to build, but you're not losing out on sound, and they're still made from aged Catalan walnut. So there is literally no disadvantage to the Aries speaker. And as I say, often people come into the shop, they will say to us, yeah, they're too small for what I want. Or even when we're speaking to people online, they'll say, those are too small, I want something with a bigger sound than that. Honestly, you have no idea how big the sound is from these. And as I say, a quick demo, you will know. And as I say it, we have so many customers, obviously they're very understandably skeptical. They're saying, like, these speakers can't make as big sound as I want. And because I was essentially the same, I said, I'm sure these are very good, but they're not going to be able to compete with a large floor stand speaker. It's just not possible. And then I'd hate some very serious humble pie because they did exactly what Alex said they could. They completely blew my mind in terms of the sound they were able to reproduce. And honestly, at £2,500, it's like a no-brainer in terms of getting a speaker of this quality. So honestly, if you are in the market, you're in that budget of around, say, £2,000 to £3,000, honestly, put the Aries on your demo list or take it into consideration. Because obviously, this is kind of a very quick video in terms of going through them. Obviously, all the specs are online, which you can look up, but obviously, we do like to speak to you more one-to-one, obviously, just because we can go through your system, go through your setup, go through your room to make sure these are ideal. But as I say, because of their size, they're essentially perfect in any room, no matter how difficult, big or small it is. And so we're more than happy, obviously, to go through that. Please always feel free to contact us to get more information on that. But honestly, please, please, please take a look at these online, take a look at them in store. You're always welcome to come in for a listen and give these a chance, because you will not believe your ears. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this gave you a little bit of an insight into maybe some products that you may not have considered in the past, and some of the amazing technology and build quality that they help us on. And of course, you can check out the rest of the range. They have a fantastic range of stand mounts that are just unbelievable as well. And of course, if you have any more details on this brand or any others, please let us know. We're always happy to chat. So again, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to speak to you soon.